Welcome to Solo Shot First, and today's video is going to be about Star Wars Celebration. Now, the reason I've got these two card backs here in front of us is quite simply because I picked these two up at the show itself. These were picked up from In Demand Toys, and so we've got Art Commander Havoc there, and the Boba Fett, the comic art edition. And the reason I wanted that Art Commander Havoc is that one, as you can probably see, has the goatee beard, which is the slight variant. But those were the only two things I picked up at the actual celebration itself. Excuse me. The main reason, I went was obviously to sort of catch up with people. And it was really great to catch up with Nick from Only One Kenobi, as well as Daniel Chart, and obviously catching up with Tim at Bosk's Bounty. But in terms of the actual experience, it was for me a little bit weird. I must admit I didn't look into it too much. I should have done. I did apply for a couple of panels, and unfortunately didn't get in those. However, as I said, my main reason for going was obviously to catch up with people and just to have a look at some of the reveals that they were showcasing. Now, I was only there on the Friday, so the main reveals for the vintage collection were on the Saturday. However, they did show us some really good figures like the Sand People, which obviously have already been revealed, Hunter, Solo, etc. But the first impression, I suppose, really with regards to the show itself, the official times were sort of 10 o'clock opening, but people sort of, I believe, were queuing from anywhere from sort of 8 or 7 o'clock in the morning. So when you actually went through into the sort of holding area, the queues were absolutely enormous. Whether that's sort of commonplace, I don't know. This was the first celebration I'd been to, but I thought it was a little bit strange, considering, everybody had a ticket. And so I started queuing about 9:15, and I didn't actually get even into the venue foyer until 10:30. And the other thing that was a little bit strange from my perspective on that was there wasn't anybody actually checking tickets or lanyards or anything like that at all. So I never even had to show my pass, show my lanyard, which I did find was a bit strange. But as soon as we got in, as I said, I met up with Nick and Dan straight away. And we went in and actually had a look at some of the things that were on display. And so this video itself is going to be a little bit of a mix of some footage that I shot live, and then also some photographs as well. But so when we went into the sort of the main hall, if you like, where the vendors were, there was a couple of great examples of like this sort of life-size ATST. Apologies, actually, that wasn't in that main hall. That was on the on the other side where the Hasbro booth was. But there was also sort of like a builder, sort of, I think it wasn't a builder droid, but it was I think it might have been. Again, please forgive my ignorance on this. It was so busy, the show. There was literally, it was absolutely rammed. Again, I wasn't sure what I was expecting, but it was so busy that it was even difficult to sort of try and get around some of the stalls and bits and pieces. But one of the things that was there, which was really interesting, and I'm sure I think it was on that sort of build droid side, it was like they had this amazing sand crawler, which the actual sand crawler itself was, I believe, 3D printed, and it was remote controlled, but it was epic in terms of its size, and would have made an absolutely brilliant HasLab project. More of that in a second. But it was really interesting. There were some really good things to see there. And I've got to say the cosplays were absolutely fantastic. The other thing that was really good to see was they put up this, we had the first look at the Jabba's throne room. And what they'd done is they'd added on, obviously, the parts previously that they had released with, Han Solo hanging on the wall. So it was nice to actually see that. Again, it was quite difficult to sort of really, I suppose, have too much time in front of these things, just quite simply because it was so busy, and trying to film was quite hectic. But it was really good to get a look at that. And my first impression of that was I thought it was very good. They also had a barge, which, although obviously not new, it was there for display, and the reason became apparent quite a bit later. I'm not sure whether it was the Sunday or maybe even the Saturday when they were doing one of the panels. They actually gave away 2 barges to 2 people lucky enough to be in one of those panels that had golden tickets. So that was really, really good. And lucky for those 2 people. Then obviously the main thing for me was then looking, I suppose, at the Hasbro booth, because it gave us the sort of, I suppose me, certainly the opportunity to look at things like the sand people, which, yes, we've already had revealed. You know, people like Hunter and obviously the Han Solo from Endor. So that was really, really good. Really good to see those sort of figures in the flesh, if you like, even though behind the glass cabinet. So it was certainly interesting. It was very, very busy though. That's the one thing that I would have to say. And so what actually happened, I went out to get some lunch from the venue just after, I think, 2 p.m. And just quite simply because of the experience, in terms of sort of, you know, I wasn't going to, having queued that long sort of first thing in the morning, I wasn't prepared to sort of go and then queue for the other things that you could. So, yeah, it was a bit of a strange experience, but it was fantastic to see all of these, you know, the different things that they were showcasing. And I believe on the Saturday, which unfortunately I said I wasn't there for that, they did have some absolutely, you know, fantastic reveals in the vintage collection. But for those, I would suggest you probably have a look at somebody else's channel, because I haven't got those to showcase you. But all in all, it was it was a good experience. It was a bit strange, as I said, not having to show a ticket. It seemed an awful lot of money for what it was, I suppose. I might come across as being probably a little bit cynical there, but I did enjoy the experience. It was just absolutely overcrowded. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video and some of the images from the show. If you have, please hit the like button. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll come back to you as soon as possible. Yeah, any comments, please leave them, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.